Hello, hello. I am invisible. There I am. As you can see, I've reduced the stream quality. In hopes of not getting throttled again. And let me see how gameplay looks for this. Yeah, it's horrible, but I hope I'm not getting throttled with this bitrate. I'm using about half. So until I've figured out what I'm going to do with my internet, I'm hopefully clearing the bar with this setup. Yeah, I might have to change my internet provider, which is annoying and probably won't happen that fast. I've already been looking at my the outlets, what options I have, but yeah, that's something I'm working on. Also, stream is a bit late. It's not 8. That's because I looked at the... Let me close the window. I looked at the wish lists and updated them, so they are over 100 now, which is awesome. On the same page, you can also see the users of the app. And first, I thought it was a bit weird because it said that 2 people were using the app. Then I realized that this must be a reviewer on Steam, a Steam staffer, and that I had, yeah, so I finally managed to install Ubuntu, and I realized the game's not working right with the, it's not toggling windowless, borderless mode. So I fixed that, but I hadn't uploaded it to the Steam build, so I did that the last hour. I pushed a new build to Steam. Hopefully the reviewer will see that. So yeah, because yeah, I've never thought of it, because in my setup I don't have borders anyway, so that's a bit an afterthought for me, but it's in now. So if you're on Linux, on Ubuntu, you can press F11, or I think the Windows key combination is Alt Enter to toggle the windowless or windowed mode. I thought about adding it into the options menu, but that would have taken too long, so I'll add that later. Yeah, another thing, I just looked in the forum and Diego's back at it. He found the duplicate pathstone bug, and I'm going to fix that now. So when you're starting the game, when you're entering a run, I should say, you get this stone, this blue thing. If I, you can read it. If I move away far enough so that it drops off the entity map, which is, I think it's 48 by 48 around the player, then it gets unloaded. That should have been far enough. And when I come back there are 2 stones. Let me think. So these path stones, they are all over the path. So every 10th along the path, there's one of these stones. So you know where you are approximately. And I hope they say the same thing. Yeah, they are just duplicates. What's weird is that they are on top of each other. So what I think is happening sorry, let me turn off the music of the game. What I think is happening is I programmatically place an entity stone and then I copy a prefab over. So I have what I call prefabs. They're just little patches that get copied over. As you can see, here's a path stone and this one is offset from the center. So this is one that you see in the bug, but then there's another one below it that I put there in the game, and I think it's the same one that is placed all along the path. But why is it not there when you spawn in? It's not there because the player lands on it. That would make sense. Because the player always spawns in. Imagine I want to place the player and there's already an entity there, then the whole game dies. Because if there's no hero, I should say, then that's the end. So the hero kills everything it lands on. That could be a stone. If I unload the stone by walking away, come back, load it back in, then the player's not on where it was and it will be loaded in. So that's the theory. And the fix would be to not place... so this prefab is fine. This should be placed at the spawn point of the hero. But the procedural one should not. So I'm pretty sure I have a check for that, but that check might be faulty or non-existent. Okay, let's message Diego and read that again, so I know that I have everything. So when I move up or down 2 levels of terrain and return to the starting area, a second path stone with the text first was one that spawns directly underneath the first one. At least I think it's a bug. Maybe I'm wrong about the trigger, since I just had the same issue about moving up 1 level down one and up across another 3 new unexplored areas. This also happens with stairs and then entering a dungeon. Yeah. So it's actually this is a bug. Yes. It is caused by these stones getting unloaded if the hero is far enough from them. There's a what's the word? There's a lingering spawn of the second path stone that gets loaded. Come on, loaded in when the player gets near player returns. That spawn is occupied. Well, I'm actually not sure if that's really the case. On stream. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at the code. Code should be in path.c. Oh, Diego, also thanks for the follow and thanks for reporting another bug. That's awesome. Am I in path? Yeah. So where do I place it? So this is a copy prefab that gets called here. Generate path from this position. That's the integer vector. It's just a world position. It tries 1,000 times to find a path through the world, and if it does, it carves the path. That means it collapses all the boundaries. And then it places the start prop. This is what we're looking at. This is the prefab I showed you. And then it places another one at the end of the path. That's a spoiler. But then maybe it's in carve path. Or it is in tile generate tiles. So that, oh yeah, here it is. Place 10 signs along the path. So this looks at this function goes through all tiles in the world. It sees if there's a patch marker on it, and that is one of these. If I restart, you can see if I jump into the editor that where the hero is, there's this marker, this P marker, and these are all over the world. And they are all possible spawn points for the player. So it looks for these P markers. If it finds one, it checks if if it's in the path, because the path sneaks along and it only hits a few of these P markers. So if it's a P marker and it's in the path, and if it's... Oh yeah, I only check if it's not the last patch on the path. So I have this path, this line. I want to place stones at the end myself, but then make the program place stones all throughout the rest. I checked here if this patch marker was less than the end, so that I don't place one at the very end, but I don't check for the beginning. So this should fix it. And if these conditions are met, then it says, then it calculates if there should be a stone on this patch marker, which with just taking the length of the path, the total path, dividing it by 10, and then modulo with the index of where I am in the path, and then I get, if the path length is 10, I get a patch on every single one. If it's 100, I get one every 10th, which is the case right now. If it were 60, then I'd get something odd in between. And then I just place the, it's called sign, but this is actually the path stone. This is a mnemonic for an object, and the tile object is then set to be the path stone, which means it gets spawned when you get near it or when you spawn near it. So I think it's exactly as I said. The hero spawns on the path stone, so it's not visible when you start, but it gets spawned back in. So yeah. And so yeah, the entities in the world, which are just objects that are alive, that are active in the game. The entities are only loaded into memory if they are in these 48 by 48 in this rectangle around the hero. And that's just the way I've chosen it to be. I think normally you would do this with a linked list. So you would have just a list of entities. But I have an array, a literal array of pointers. And I mean, it's a trade-off. One is better in some things and the other is better in other things. But I've seen that it can become a bottleneck if there's very much going on. And also I have 3 layers and I have to update all the entities on all 3 layers, even if you can only see 1 layer at a time. And that's because I can't think of the reason, but there was a good reason that I have to do that. And that can that can make the game feel a bit choppy between turns. So this only concerns between turns. So if I move, it could stutter for. I mean, it's not much. It's maybe yeah, it skips a frame or two. But with O2 compiler optimizations turned on, that goes away. At least on my PC, it's totally not a problem. But I'm carrying that around with me, so I might have to act on it in the future if the game gets much more intense in terms of computations. So let's check this, if it works. If I can survive this. Okay, barely. Of course not. Yeah, I think I've worked on the control help yesterday. I moved it to this layout. And yeah, packing both of them onto one screen, keyboard and controller. Not sure about the colors. I needed the keyboard and controller to have distinct colors, just to tell them apart. But yeah. Okay, am I far enough? Oh, I died, okay. Then I'm not far enough. Okay, these are just deer. Let's just... I think that might be enough. Problem is I have to make sure. Is that away? No. Where's the way? Oh, come on. Okay, this is a good one. If I can survive it. Actually, I can cheat. Okay, that's enough. Should be enough. Okay, let's go a bit further. Don't trust this. Oh, this is actually a... Oh, God. I'm locked. So one of these has to go. Yeah, that's scary. Let's be safe. Hello. Why isn't the keyboard working here? Oh, now it is. Oh god. Guess there's some other bug at work here. But it might be tied to the editor, so there's still hope. Okay, I'd call this far enough. Just have to find my way back. Okay. Let's do one more, because I would hate to call this fixed and then it's not actually. So yeah, I actually wanted to stream on Ubuntu today and to fix the windowless mode. But I mean, me and Ubuntu will probably not become friends. But I couldn't, because I couldn't even install the Build Essentials package. It just refused with a weird error message, and that comes after trying to install it for, I think I tried 4 times, but it was always obscure error messages, stuff not working. Yeah. But I'll use it for testing Steam builds, because Steam installed fine, so that's good. Okay, is this where I came from? Yes. I recognize this, and it's only one. Very good. Okay, this is fixed. Fixed double paths donors. Very good. Let's look at the to-do file. So I've jumped ahead. I'm ahead of schedule. I think at least. I have a list of stuff that came up. Some are bugs. Others are ideas. Let's go through these. Let's do these bugs. Most of these are pretty quick. So first one is skeletons have red blood. So that's of course not good. Because they are a brownish color. And I could finally change this stupid color name. Yeah, why not? Why not do just busy work today? As long as my stream holds up. From previous experience, we still have 15 minutes. Oh, actually 25. 25 minutes. So until the stream is segmented. So that is instruct. Oh, come on. So this was violet, but long ago I somehow changed it and it's actually a beige. But I still kept this name around here in the code because I was just too lazy. And in my mind, VIO now stands for a beige color. That's of course not great. So let's see what breaks. Okay. Wait, that's it. Okay, that was much easier than I thought. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Good. Oh, that one wasn't actually in the list. Okay, skeletons have red blood. That one could be, depending on how I want to solve it, could be quite an effort, or could be a quick hack. So if you hit an enemy, then they emit particles that just land on the ground and fade out. 3 or 4 of them. And they are always a bloody red or a rosy red. And yeah, skeletons don't have blood. Theirs should be beige, as is their icon color. So if let's look at entity, there is a damage color index. Returns damage particle color for object. So what this does is it checks if the entity type is a hero or an NPC, then it returns this rose color. Otherwise it returns the entity's own color. This is a pointer to... So entity is a pointer and has a object struct in it, which is what I use to define the entities, and then they have runtime stuff as well. That's not in this object struct in the entity. But the color is, so I would have to add a exception here, because skeleton is a NPC. I could also say, I could also make this official and say switch on the object, and if it's skeleton, return its object color, but default is this test. So with that I can change the blood color of any object I want just by adding it up here. But this still works for everything else, which I think is a good solution. Let's see. Let's give some monsters green blood, because why not? So I have Kobold and Troll could... Let's give them green blood, maybe. Spiders could have yellow. Oh, that sounds nice. Let's make this official. Beige +1 maybe. And let's give the Kobold and Troll green blood. Like this. Skeleton and white. Whites are blue. And the undead could also have green blood, maybe. Probably not. Let's see what happened. And maybe give me a day. Okay. Oh, but that... Yeah, so I also... If an entity dies, it stains the ground. It literally just changes the color of the tile underneath it. And I'll need to use these colors for that as well, of course. Where is stain tile? Okay, let's try to understand that. and leave this here. If the object color is not black and there's a tile here, oh, this is exactly the same test as I did above, then change the tile color. Okay, so I can just say tile color is damage, color index of the entity. And this says, okay, set the tessellation block as dirty. So it retessellates the terrain block so that you can actually see the color change. Tessellates the whole block, but what actually changed is only the color of the one tile in it. But the tessellation is so fast that I can do that. I can do that in real time. What it is? Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's try that again. Okay, there's a cobalt. Oh, that's actually not bad. The color. I expected something different, but it's actually not bad. I wonder if I should change the actual blood color to deep red. But that might be too much. But I think I remember distinctly how Warcraft 2 looked. Just because of all the splatter. Okay, I was also like 10 years old when I saw that the first time. So that probably left an impression. So yeah, so I like that it's distinct from the forest and grass colors. Yeah, let's just try turning the blood red completely. Yeah, that's not working. That's the fireplace. Okay, will be this rose color. I could saturate the color a bit more, but yeah. Let's just skip that. Okay, have I been offline for half the time? Kind of looks like it. Oh, sorry. Okay, OBS is fine again. Thanks again, Diego. Okay. So that gives... Well, I haven't... Have I confirmed that skeletons have the right color now? I can actually just jump near them if they would not disappear. Yeah. Yeah, this works. All right. Okay, next one is a large one. That's save files are not compressed. But I could not do that because I don't have compression in the game. So yeah, that's definitely not for today. Oh, reset, okay. Reset health tick timer after damage. Oh, okay, that's, so the hero regenerates health slowly. The idea is to reset the timer if you're getting hit. Because it's a bit weird getting hit and your health immediately goes up because the tick happens. That is in game.c. Regenerate health. So this is if the hero is not starving and every 25th turn, and if he's damaged, then reduce the damage by 1. So this is actually not using a timer. So the regen I would solve this way. So I have a regen timer. So this STA is the status of the game and the hero. So the hero has an entity, but that data is shared with all the other entities. So I don't want everything the player has to propagate to all entities. So everything player specific is moved out into this state struct, and that struct resets every run. And I have the timers here. And the regen timer would then increment to 25. And if that is 25, and the hero is not starving, and the hero has health damage. Okay, that's missing a parenthesis somewhere. Okay, I don't need that one. Good. I do the same thing. I had, well, this is just a plus sign. Not sure if that's needed. So that's just a +1 that pops up above the player. Let's move that back in and see if I have everything. I think so. Let's remove this and go into the structs. And I have the state. I'll just add another D timer here. So now the actual task was resetting this when the hero takes damage. And because everything goes through the damage function, I can do that pretty easily. But that function is not in this file. It's in the entities. So this is switching on. Okay, yeah, it just gets the apply damage to entity. There's no afflictions. Oh, actually, no, there's no afflictions in this function. So it gets the entity that is to be damaged, gets the damage value as an integer, and then a message. What did the damage? And that's mostly for the death screen, but also for metrics for me. When I let the bot loose to test the levels. So I can have a log that tells me what the bot died to. So this switches on the object type, and I have the hero. So when the hero takes damage, I can say reset this to 0. So it doesn't get to 25, it resets. And then that's a problem for the player. Let's actually render this. On the screen. And oh yeah, thank God I tested that, because it has to reset to 0, of course. Even if the hero is not damaged. Or should it reset? Okay, and it shouldn't heal me all the way. Yeah, it should reset. Um, Before I fix that, let me put the +1 to the potions. Pop add, okay, that's removing from inventory, heal hero. What? Okay, these are just the effects. Flash blue. It's actually not a bad idea. Yeah, reset it to 0. And let's do it this way. If it's 25, then always do this, but only heal the hero if this is the case. So that should work now. Okay, let's see. I have taken 2 damage and now I've healed 1, but yeah, I can't flash the screen. That's insane. I should probably flash it when drinking a potion, but not generally. Okay. I'll remove that yellow timer again, of course. And 25 might be a bit much. That's actually, yeah, it's pretty fast. Let's make it 50. Okay, that's ingrained in my brain. Because I did that so much. Okay, let's just wait a couple of turns. 50. +1. And let's give the mammoth a shit ton of health. Because that was pathetic. Max just dropping in to say hi and tell you I'm quite interested in this game. Hey Diego. You've been an awesome help these past days. Thank you very much. Yeah, I fixed the bug with the path stones. It was a yeah, I wasn't doing a bounce check, bounds. So the game places the stones along the path every 10th patch, I call them, and the first and the last one I place by hand because they're special, but the algorithm that places them between also placed the first one, so there were always two, but the player spawns in on the second one, so that one is never seen when you spawn in because it gets replaced by the hero. But it gets spawned in if you leave the area, so it gets unloaded and you come back, so it gets loaded back in. There's no hero on top of it, and then it's visible. So yeah, that was the bug. That is gone now. Okay, reset health, take time of the damage. That's done. I also have a double path stones written down here. I'm not sure what that means. That is at 1417 654. Oh yeah. So this is one large patch with these bounds that delineate it. There's two patch markers on it, so that's a no-go. If I this, that should work. Yeah, let me run a test. Test okay. Good, that should solve that. And then I have a weird path stone at 1315 262. And that one's gone, I guess. I already removed that one. Yep. Orphan, patch, and start. No idea what that means. 365. 435. Yeah, that's an orphan patch. But I could maybe place a start marker here. If I move this over. And this one as well. Then let's place a patch marker here They feel the skeleton should probably move up here or something. Okay. Main music does not loop correctly. I think I can just run 2 copies of the game side by side. So let me stop Skyrim. And build the game real quick. Okay. And let's listen to this. Okay, that's super low compared to Skyrim. Okay, let's see if this loops. Oh yeah, this is the big one. Enemies cannot see through doors. Let me... Where are the buttons? Let me... Okay, test. Might be a bit loud. Okay. Enemies can't see through doors. That's a problem. I think I know how to solve it. Okay, glad that was easy to solve, though. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I had another one for you. Yeah, sure. The more, the better. On Windows, after closing the game, the process is still running in the background. Whoa, okay, that's weird. I am not doing much. Get post quit message. That gets handled here. That gets thrown into main. or not. You can still hear the music playing in the background after closing. Oh, really? Because I tested using the Steam client. And I didn't have that. Are you using Windows 11 or? Where the hell is Paul EV? Input. Okay, then that returns a 1. It should close. Windows 11, okay. But yeah, that was my first thought when you said it's still running, is that it can't close the audio thread. That's weird. Yeah, so this is fine, what I'm looking at. Then it would be in the audio thread. So the audio thread is initialized with create thread, set priority, and then here, more importantly, it sets a atomic, this T signal, terminate signal, for which the audio thread listens, and then breaks out of its audio loop, closes all the stuff, sets the terminate signal, increments it again, and until the audio thread incremented it again and told the app that it's closed, I yield the processor and load the atomic. So that's what's happening, and that's been working fine all the time, but I'm also not primarily on Windows, so that could have blindsided me. But I could probably, there might be a Windows API to close the thread. Chromium. Terminate thread. Handle, that's good. Terminates a thread. Return value remarks. Has used the cost to cause a thread to exit. When this occurs, the target thread has no chance to execute any user mode code. DLLs are not notified that the thread is terminating. That sounds bad. It's a dangerous function. Should only be used in most extreme cases. Should call terminate. Yeah, well, what's the alternative? What's the correct way then? Yeah, because if I rock pull the audio thread, then that's If the audio thread starts to read random memory into the sound buffer, then yeah, I'll get death threads. Get exit code. Terminating a thread. The thread calls exit thread. Any thread calls exit process. Thread returns. Any thread calls terminate thread. Any thread calls terminate process. Okay, so you don't. There's no should be used. Oh, better solution. Okay, create an event. Okay, that's the solution. Create the thread. Each thread monitors the event state by calling wait for single object. Each thread terminates its own execution when the event is set to the signal state. Yeah, that's basically exactly what I do. But I use a integer. Did you close the... did you press the X on the windowed window? Or did you exit using... yeah, my stream is crapping the bed. I hope you can still hear me. Or did you exit from the game itself? With the save and quit? And I'm back. Yes, pressing the X of the window. Next time I need to try it with the menu. No, I'll try. But I'm streaming on Debian right now, and I would have to reboot to get into Windows. But I think I didn't check pressing the X of the window. But that would mean I actually get the window quit message. And that then eventually propagates to here. If it's 1, it breaks. And then I land here, the init sound. That's such for the wrong thing. Okay, that just calls the init audio. And that's that. Yeah, I might just have to use the Windows queue, the event thing. I have that already here for... yeah, the audio loop uses that actually. Could I run this game on Wine? The Windows version. Should probably... Yeah, I mean, that's stupid. Yeah, I'll test this on Windows after stream. And I can reboot. But I could actually write the code now. Because I am cross-compiling Windows. But so the code should be the exact same as... So this is Pulse Audio, this is Linux. This is doing the exact same to deinitialize the audio thread. Except that the yield function is different. Let's look at the thread. Atomic init to 0. And then, yeah, thread stuff. And the variable is static atomic int. It's also the same. Yeah, that's annoying, but not sure why. Oh, let's look at the increment function, of course. So it breaks, same as here. This is Pulse Audio up here. Breaks, falls down. And then this is deinitialization stuff. Atomic fetch at 1. And then it calls pre-thread exit. Oh, am I not calling thread exit? Is that it? Do I need to call... Do I need to call this? Is the preferred method of exiting a thread in C code. However, in C++, the thread is exited before any deconstruction. This function is called, or explicitly, either explicitly or by returning from a thread procedure. Okay, so it, yeah, if it returns, it gets called. The state of the thread object becomes signaled. State of the... Thank you. The state of the thread object becomes signaled using any other threads. Okay, the thread termination status changed from still active to... Okay, that's not that important. A thread in an executable that's linked to the static C runtime library. CRT should use begin thread and end thread for thread management rather than create thread and exit thread. What? Isn't everything linked to the CRT? No, it was CRT or something else. Failure to do so results in small memory leaks. When a thread calls exit thread, another workaround is to link the executable to the CRT in a DLL instead of static CRT. Note that this memory only occurs from a DLL. The DLL is linked to the thread calls disable thread library calls function. Oh, you're joking. Use gets exit code thread. Okay. Windows Phone. No, no thanks. Okay, that didn't help that much. Create process. Create thread. So exit thread is called implicitly. So sadly it's not that easy. Maybe I need to store the atomic in TLS. That doesn't make sense. The process has two threads, thread 1 and 2. It allocates 2 indices for use with TLS. Each thread allocates 2 memory blocks. To access the data associated with an index, the thread retrieves the pointer to the memory block from the TLS slot and stores it in the LPV data local variable. Okay. Creating windows and threads. Okay. What's it called? Zombie or something? Zombie. After closing the window. Okay, this might be it. Okay, I have to read the question. I've recently started learning GL, basic window. However, I noticed when I close the window, the application does not terminate completely. When I remove everything from window proc, simply return, it still persists. I have to manually kill it. Okay, I'm missing something. Ensuring. Check the message loop. Oh god, okay. She isn't the code, it's a valid C++ Windows program that terminates when control leaves when main function problems that the linker command line opts out of C++ language ruled by supplying a custom entry point. When main, yes. Primary thread creates a thread that sleeps indefinitely and returns immediately per C and C++ language rules. Returning from the entry point has the effect of terminating the program. This happens when compiling a program using the following command line. If we set a custom entry point, the program will not terminate. The primary thread returns from win main. That's what I do, I think. Launching. Now keeps the process alive indefinitely. Setting a custom entry point rather than letting the linker choose the default. Rules for process termination change. Process terminates when a thread calls exit process explicitly or when all threads have terminated. If you return from the main thread, does the process exit? While calling exit process from the custom winmain entry point would address the immediate issue, it's not a practical solution. Jesus, just tell me what... The language support libraries don't just terminate the process for us, they are responsible for a lot of things. The real solution is to drop the entry linker option and let the linker choose the default entry point. Are you kidding me? I'm going to crash out. Yeah, I tested it again. The issue only happens if I close it with the X. If I use save and quit, the game closes correctly. Okay, thank God. Thank God. And I'm in pixels again. Sorry about that. That is... yeah, my internet. I'll have it fixed soon. Okay, so it actually... if this guy is correct, then let's look at my make file. Yeah, entry main CRT startup. And this guy on Stack Overflow says I should use a win main. But this guy talks as if he's from Microsoft. So there's probably a way around this. I'm trying to think about this problem from a different perspective. If I want the entry point to be win main in the linker command defined as... yes, no. This means I want a custom win main function. So I write the code with yes, yes. However, I should encounter cannot overload, yes, yes. So just the code. What's he doing? What? Okay, he's totally hacking. Oh, he just renamed it. Okay, execute win main. He calls win main himself. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, at what code do I look? I don't think GLFW will help me here. STL probably neither. Okay, what is... Jesus. Okay, maybe this downvoted guy is actually a genius. Message loop should handle WM quit properly. In your message loop, get message, translate, dispatch. Get message returns 0 when WM quit is received, which exits the loop. This should normally cause winmain to exit, terminating the process. However, if another thread is keeping the process alive, may never fully terminate. Try modifying the message loop to log when WM quit is received. Okay, that's actually a good point. Let's look at get message. Okay, I use peak message. I'll have to look up the code. Maybe give me the normal function. Why was there an A? I can't with Windows. MDN. Dispatches incoming sent messages, checks the thread message queue. Retrieves the message. Parameters. Return if a message is available, return value is non-zero. Okay, so it just returns if there's a message. Has nothing to do with the WM quit message. So this is the only place where the quit message will land. But I never translate or dispatch. Oh, that might be bad. Maybe I should do it this way. I also haven't noticed if the music is skipping because I wasn't listening to it. Oh, it could be skipping now. Sounds like a good loop to me. Okay, translate message. Does it modify the message? It's translated. Does not modify. Very good. What about dispatch message? Does it modify? Return value specifies the value. Its structure must contain valid message values if it points to WM timer. Application is not responsible for retrieving and dispatching input messages to the dialog box. Doesn't say. Okay, that's one plus point and one minus point for Microsoft. And this guy is talking about if main loop Exited is printed. But the process remains. Something else is keeping it alive. Yeah, it's the audio thread that needs to exit. Also, you can force process termination by calling exit process in WM destroy. Oh, am I maybe? What is WM destroy? I'm not handling that. Maybe I'm not handling the X button close message. Send window is being destroyed. This message is sent first to the window being destroyed and then child windows. I mean, that could be a problem. That could absolutely be a problem. Okay, WM close is sent to the window. That's the X button. I don't have that either, I think. Destroy send. That's probably task manager stuff. WM quit is not related to any window. Okay. Okay, so I just monitor these two and then post the quit message. That's what I get from this. Destroy is... Okay, WM close, press the close button, Alt F4, close in the context menu. Called window, called destroy window, called post quit message. Yeah, so I don't need destroy. Oh, I need to do this. This sounds legit. Sorry, not large enough probably. Oh, holy pop-ups. So this one, destroy window. For that I need the handle. Sorry, flashing. Yeah, and WM quit is where That's post quit message. This is destroy window. Oh, delete window. Oh God. And in the WM destroy, I post the quit message. That might be it. Okay, yeah, this is pretty important. So I will test this on Windows now. I will go off stream for today. And I will take the day off tomorrow, probably. From streaming, that is. And figure out what I'll do with my internet. Because that's just not sustainable. So it drops to 200 kilobits for a while and then goes back up. Makes no sense. Okay, good luck with development. Thanks, Diego. Thanks for finding this bug. That's also super valuable because the game is in review currently. And I can still update the builds while they are reviewing, so I'll do that. I'll fix the problem, update the build, and then that should be fine. All right. Yeah, I'm off tomorrow, off stream, but I'll be back on Monday. All right. Have a nice weekend, Diego. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Or in the forum, probably. If you find something else. All right, take it easy. Bye.